Y'all know Dre knows. Hey guys, let me get relaxed. Ow, ow, I wanna get a cramp. Hello.
No. Hello.
Hey, Miss Livingston.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm fine. I had left my phone in the car.
Oh, it's okay. I was just calling to see when was a good time to get Naomi and Isaac today.
Well, now. You hear them?
Hi, Naomi.
They said now. Kid is leaving the boathouse. The boathouse. So I tell you what, give us about, what time is it?
It's 3:15.
Give me about 2 hours.
Okay, that's perfect.
Alrighty, see
All
you
right.
there.
All right, bye-bye. So I'm going to pick up my niece and nephew. Their mother and father are in Mexico for my brother-in-law's birthday. So my sister had took him there for his birthday, which is really, really nice of him. Of her. Anywho. So, guys, I haven't done YouTube in such a long time, but I felt that it was only right that I come back with something that's been on my heart, something that has affected me, affected my family, and I just want to talk about it because I feel like I should have brought some tissues over here because I hope I don't start crying because this is how sensitive it is to me. But yeah, like I just feel like a lot of people just don't talk about how cancer can affect the whole family. Like someone in your family has cancer and it affects the whole family and the dynamic of your family. So I just want to talk about that. Basically, my grandfather was diagnosed with cancer about 4 or 5 years ago. He was diagnosed with prostate cancer. He was, I believe, 86, 87 years old when he was diagnosed. And a lot of people are just saying like that's a good life or whatever for someone to live past their 80s and stuff like that. But understand that is all I knew. Like when it came to grandparents. So it's just like you're so used to seeing your grandparents up and moving and stuff, even at a high age like that. I was so used to seeing him up and moving and doing stuff and working on cars and stuff like that because that's what he did. To see them get sickly and ill. But I'll get back to that. So basically, my grandfather was diagnosed with prostate cancer. And my grandfather, he served in the Korean War, so he's a veteran. And my mom, she is the middle child, well, kind of like the middle child of 4. So it's my 2 uncles, my mom, and then my aunt. And so my mom had just decided to figure out like what benefits did my grandfather qualify for, because like he was gonna need it, like, you know, being sick like that, all that stuff is not cheap. Understand me. Medical stuff, and it's just not cheap. It's not something that I would want anybody to go through, financially, emotionally, physically. So my mom, she really worked her butt off. My mom worked her ass off. Like, and I'm sorry, like, if family members watching this, sorry. But she did that to get his benefits rolling and basically get everything that he was entitled to for serving his country. So my mom, she got in contact with Veteran Affairs. This is when everything first happened, when he was first diagnosed, all that. Got into contact with Veteran Affairs, made sure everything was straight, going back and forth with these people. Like, my mom was stressed out, but she was determined to for my grandfather to be financially stable and able while going through this sickness. And not having to come out of his pocket. Because, like, my grandfather, like, he owned his own body shop and stuff like that. And it's in the family name. But it's just like, you know, like, treatments and doctor's visits every week and stuff. That adds up. It adds up. So, basically, my mom spent, I want to say, like, a little over 4 to 5 months getting paperwork submitted, reaching out to different people, researching stuff. She really took the time to do it, and she did it all by herself. She did it all by herself. And a lot of people in the family, they didn't really think my grandfather was going to qualify for it and stuff. Guess it was a waste of time to them to try to see the, like, I don't know. My mom is just, she's a woman of faith. So she had faith that it was going to go through, and it did go through. So everything that my grandfather had went through, health-wise, it was paid for by Veteran Affairs. So I will say, if you have family that's, you know, served in the war, they have an honorable discharge and stuff, you need to figure out what benefits they qualify for, because if they don't have to pay for another medical bill in their life, they shouldn't have to. So it takes everything in the world for you to really get them everything that they're entitled to, because a lot of veterans don't know this. And, you know, a lot of this is held on a down low, because this is like thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. Understand? So basically, my grandfather, he goes through his treatments and stuff the first time around, and he's starting to get really, really better. The cancer was gone. He beat cancer. Cancer was gone. Everyone was motivating and encouraging him. My mom would make dinner for like a week's worth of dinner, like 2 or 3 times out of the month, and take it to my grandparents. They live like an hour and a half away from where they live, so would take it to my grandparents' house so my grandmother wouldn't have to cook. Just doing a lot of stuff like by herself, and it kind of hurts that I wasn't able to really help like I wanted to. Like, it really didn't hit me. I didn't really take it, you know, as seriously as I should have in the beginning, but what I thought I had to do, I did, and that was something that my grandfather wanted me to do, and that was to get back in school and finish. So, it was this year, actually, 2019. It was Father's Day, and being my grandfather, he had just lost the ability to do a lot of stuff, like wasn't able to work in his shop like he wanted to, since the sickness and everything. This was before he was healed. So Father's Day of this year comes around, 2019, and everyone, like my grandfather, was just in great spirits. He beat cancer, and he was able to drive. And like, it was like a milestone moment, because my grandfather hadn't drove in a long time since his sickness, and just seeing him be able to drive his big old truck was just a huge accomplishment. And it just warmed my heart. Like, it just warmed my heart. Like, especially like for a man, and especially for him to, work on cars for all of his life and stuff, not being able to do or get behind the wheel like any other time. I know it really affects a person emotionally and mentally. So everyone was just so proud and happy that, he was back to at least just driving. If it wasn't working, he was at least driving himself. So understand, this year my grandfather was 89 years old. Around Father's Day and his birthday at the same time. His birthday is the 23rd of June. So this is gonna really touch me because it's like really recent. I believe it was like August. No, September. My mom was at work, and basically my grandmother had called her, and my grandfather had like lost feeling like in his legs and his hand and stuff like that. So we figured like, okay, he's going through a stroke, so we need to get him to a hospital ASAP. So come to find out, get him to the hospital. Come to find out, it wasn't a stroke. His cancer had came back, and he had to go through 10 treatments, radiation treatments, because the cancer was back. And it was just like really devastating. It was really devastating. It's really hard to talk about. But so he was in the hospital for a while. And he finished his treatments at this one hospital. I'm not going to name the hospitals, but he finished treatments, and he needed to get his strength back. So that was the goal. So he had to go to a center where he would be at full time to get rehab to gain his strength back, because there was no way he was going to be able to go back home. And my grandmother, like, having a lot on her, taking care of him and lifting him and stuff like that. Like, my grandmother is up in age too. Like, she still got it. No, my grandma still got it. But just taking care of someone else around the same age as you, and trying to lift and change and stuff like that, it's just a lot. And my grandmother didn't have the strength for that either. So got him into a center, and basically he was there for a few weeks. I would go and I would see my grandfather, do my homework in there with him, and talk to him. We pray, we sing songs in there. The whole time, my grandmother never left his side. Like, never left his side. So it was just like, that was just a sign of like real love to me. Like, they, like, in that moment, like, seeing all of this like transpire, like, it was like a great example that both my grandmother and mother and stuff, they really kind of showed me what family is about, and how to be there for your husband, how to be there for your father. And my dad as well. Like, my dad was there too, staying and stuff. So it was just an inspiring moment, and I wanted to be a part of it because, I'm family. I'm his granddaughter. So a few weeks go by, and my grandfather is sent back to the hospital. And it was because like he wasn't eating, he didn't have an appetite and stuff like that. And when you're older and you're going through these treatments and stuff like that, first of all, you get worn out, you get tired, all you want to do is sleep all day, didn't have much of an appetite, didn't want to talk, like, you know, like it was like that. So it was just a lot. It was just a lot to go through and see. So it was like really hard, like, you know, just watching. It's hard, like, just watching someone kind of like transform into the next life. But I'm sorry. I need tissue. Hold on. Anyways, it's just really hard. Watching someone go through that, watching them in pain and stuff. But I remember my mom calling me one night, and she was basically saying that, you know, the doctors are saying like he doesn't have lung and da 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 da. And I just really broke down. I just broke down crying on the phone, and I shouldn't have done that. You know, one, because she was driving. For two, she's already gone through a lot, being the actual one handling everything, which shouldn't have been done by herself. Missing all this time from work, stressed out, not able to focus, taking care of all of his medical stuff while she's at work on phone with doctors all day long. She shouldn't have went through that by herself, but she did, and she did it. So she called me, and I just busted out crying, like, and I told her, like, the only thing I wanted this year, my only goal this year was for my grandfather to see me cross the stage of graduation. That was my only goal. That's the only thing I had asked God for. Like, you know how you sometimes like be trying to make deals with God and stuff like that, like, oh Lord, if you do this, then I'll do this, like that type of thing. And it was just hurt, like, hearing the reality that he might not be able to physically see you cross that stage. And it just hit me. And when it hit me hard. It hit me really hard. But my mom, she encouraged me, and just saying that we had to encourage him, which we did. And every time I would see him in the hospital, I would tell him, like, Papa, now you know you gotta see me cross this stage in December. You know you coming to this party, because I'm having a graduation party. So he knew. And he was like, yeah, I'm coming to the party. Like, it would just make me smile, because he really was talking about, you know, the party. Like, I'm coming to the party. So he knew that, you know, what I was doing for him. And I really pressed, like, this year I really pressed. I went and sat and talked to my advisors at school, and Dr. Conway, like, oh my God, I love that lady. But she really, Dr. Conway at Virginia State University, listen, heaven sent. She really just made things possible. She's really made things possible for me. Very supportive in what I was going through. Just, I couldn't ask for anything better. But basically was overworking myself, working 2 jobs, in school full time, taking 18 credits just to walk the stage in December so my grandfather could see me. Whole time, I'm not supposed to cross the stage until May 2020. So I was really pushing. Sorry, I need a break. So I was really pushing to accomplish this goal that I had for myself. And a few days go by, and I go see my grandfather in the hospital, and he's not able to talk and stuff. Like I said, he wasn't eating, so now he has to be fed with a feeding tube and stuff. So, but he's able to hear. He was aware of who was around him, what was around. He was very aware and responsive when he wanted to be. But he was. And he was falling asleep, and I woke up. I was like, Papa, you gotta get up. Like, you sleep all day, wake up. So I set up his seat and stuff like that, talked to him, sang with him, kissed him, took pictures with him and stuff. And basically, sorry, I'm losing my train of thought. Oh, okay. So I basically told him before I left that day, I said, Papa, I'm coming back tomorrow with my iPad so I could let you watch your favorite episodes of Sanford and Son. So growing up, and I used to stay at my grandparents' house like during the summer sometimes and spring breaks and stuff, that was his favorite show to watch, Sanford and Son. Like, his favorite. So I found a few episodes on YouTube, which I thank God they were on there. Found a few episodes. But before I left that day, I was like, I'm gonna come back and play Sanford and Son for you. And he was nodding his head. So I was like, oh yeah, he know. Because I know he probably ain't seen it in a minute. So I knew, like, he was like, a little hype. But he couldn't talk, but I knew he was hyped because he was nodding his head. So I was like, yeah, okay, good. So I was like really excited to get there the next day. It was a Sunday. I was really excited to get there the next day. I went and I bought me and my grandma some muffins. I bought my grandma some muffins because she really loves some blueberry muffins. And I get there and he's asleep. And so I was like, Grandma, how long he been asleep? She was like, all day. And I got there at like 12:30 or 1 o'clock. So lift his seat up again. Papa. Hey, Papa. And he nodded his head, making it aware that I'm there. And I had told him that I brought my iPad, so I started playing the episodes. And he was like half awake, half asleep. Like, he heard everything or whatever, but I don't think he had the strength to really open his eyes at the moment. So I just put the iPad beside him so he could hear what was going on. And when he heard the episodes going on, I could kind of see like his facial expressions and stuff like that. So before I was getting ready to leave, it was an episode playing. Like, he was sitting up and he was kind of awake now, and so he was trying to hold. This is the first time I seen my papa like really active with his hands in a while. Since we knew that the cancer hit again, like, he wasn't really active with his hands. He wasn't able to like hold and grab stuff with his hands. So I saw him like moving his hands like in the bed and everything. I'm just like, Papa, what's wrong? Like, trying to grab my iPad and hold my iPad and stuff like that. I was like, Pop, I did not want him to have to do anything. So I was holding the iPad for him to see or whatever. I had stood it up on the table where they eat off of at the hospital, like where they put it in front of you and you eat. Put it on there or whatever. And for some reason, like, my grandfather was really like trying to communicate and say something to me, but I just, for the life of me, I could not understand what he was saying. I didn't know if he was hurt. I didn't know what he was saying, like trying to say. And it kills me to this day that I couldn't figure out what he was trying to say, but I knew that he was either like uncomfortable in the bed or something. So I had left the room to go get my uncle because he needed a little help finding where the room was at. And I come back, the nurse is in there, she give him something, and he's knocked out asleep. So I stayed in there for a few more moments, and before I left, I was just calling his name, like to let him know that I was leaving. I would see him later. I loved him, went, gave him a kiss and everything. And and that night, my grandma had called, and she basically told my mom that she thought my grandfather was transitioning at that moment. So it's like a bunch of like nurses and doctors and stuff in the room with her, and she's just there by herself with him. And he passed. Same day. Same day I went to go see him. Same day my sister went to go see him. Same day his sons went to go see him. Like, a lot of the family saw him that day. And we just think that he was holding on to see everybody, because he knew we were coming. My mom told him that we were coming because she stayed that weekend with him. We think just he was just fighting to see everybody before he transitioned in. I just broke down because when I say it's probably one of the hardest things that I've ever been through. Like, I've had deaths in my family and stuff like that, but this one, it really hit home for me. It really did. It really hit home for my mom. It's just sad. It's just sad. And I was hurt because the one thing I wanted this year, I just wasn't gonna get. The one thing I wanted, I just wasn't gonna get. But I'm just happy that he's at peace. I'm happy he's not in pain. I'm just happy he's in a better place. And when I say a better place, like, I know he's in heaven. 'Cause his spirit, I never seen my grandfather have an evil or mean spirit. You know how you just get around some people and you can just tell that they have a certain spirit about them. Like, they probably fine one day, but another day you just see a totally different side. My grandfather never, ever, ever in my life, 24 years I've been living, I've never seen him flip the script, get mad. I've never seen it, ever. So it just hurts me. He lived a full life. Died at 89 years old. it's just hard. It's going to take some time for the family to really bounce back, but I don't think we can really bounce back. I don't think we can really bounce back like we used to be. So now my main concern right now is my grandmother, making sure she's straight. My mom, making sure she's okay, checking in on her. But understand that cancer, it affects the entire family. Like, and I don't know how anybody else feel besides myself, my mom, my grandma. I don't know how anybody besides like my immediate family, my sister, my mom, my dad. Everybody, I don't know what's going through their heads or whatever. I don't know. But for us, this was a hard loss. And I'm trying to remain focused and finish strong because I know he's in heaven watching me. I know. I already know. So, if I could give any advice to someone who someone has a family member experiencing cancer in their family and going through a lot, my advice to you is be there. Because my biggest regret is not spending more time with them when I could have. Encouragement. Everyone needs encouragement, especially when going through something like that. Prayer. We would literally be around the hospital bed holding hands in prayer. Just having a family of faith, having friends of faith. So yeah, and this was kind of like a big eye opener to like who my real friends are. And I will say the energy that I was giving some people prior to this, they can't get that energy from me anymore. Because when you're not supportive of people when they're low, why would I want you around when I'm high? When I'm on top? I don't want you around. I have people that I know who I'm saying are not my friends anymore, who haven't even reached out to me. And it's just, it's fine. Some people take deaths differently. But I know how I'm going to move. And I'm going to move to honor my grandfather and respect my grandfather. So that's that, guys. It's a lot. The greatest thing of all is everything, all his medical stuff, his treatments, anything was paid for. We don't have to worry about none of that financially. My grandmother has not to worry about that financially. Everything was paid for by Veteran Affairs. So I would really suggest that you get in contact with Veteran Affairs and see what your family's options are if they are a veteran, because they are entitled to it. They are entitled to it. America owes these veterans so much They owe these veterans so much. It's the least they can do. The least. Especially, and I don't want to get into a lot of detail into race, but especially for the Black veterans. And I say this because many of our Black veterans who served in Korean Wars, World War, listen to me, they were putting our Black men on the front lines. They were being subject to be killed first. They put our Black... I'm sorry. It's the truth. It's the truth. And one thing I would never forget, my grandfather saying that the first day of their war, they were shipped out first day, his best friend was killed. First day. And that just hurt my heart. It hurt my heart like to the core that he had to experience that at such a young age, fighting for his country. So, yeah, they're entitled to their benefits. They are. And I encourage it. So, I hope this video is able to help somebody. Although I'm hurt, I'm not going to give up on my goal because it's still a goal. He still needs to see me, even if he's watching from heaven. It's still a goal. So make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. And thanks for watching. Sorry for all of the tears. Sorry, I just get a little bit emotional when I talk about it. So yeah, thanks guys.